Many classic movies, whether it be The Breakfast Club, Mean Girls, or even recent modern movies such as The Hunger Games, portray strong female characters that are sometimes unable to portray their true raw feelings, specifically towards men. Although these females are powerful characters, they aren't seen as important by men and other characters as they should be due to the unknown knowledge of what the character is truly feeling inside. These hidden feelings are finally shown through by the Penelopiad, a novel by Margaret Atwood. Any reader, no matter what gender, age, race, or culture, took something from reading this book, for it somewhat exposes the raw feelings of a female and shows that their lives aren't always as sugar-coated as people may think. Women centuries ago up until today are constantly having to hide their true feelings towards many people, especially men, for their fear of being judged when they are going through a rough time. Since no woman should need to hide their feelings from anyone, most importantly when they are going through something that isn't right, the Penelopiad portrays to its readers the real and raw feelings of women going through a rough time. Throughout the Penelopiad, Penelope, the main character, is left alone, waiting countless years for her husband Odysseus to return from fighting in the Trojan War. This is truly a test of Penelope's strength and dedication to her husband. In the end, we find that Odysseus does return after sleeping with many goddesses, and that Penelope has stayed truthful to their marriage. In the epic poem by Homer, the Odyssey, we only hear about the celebratory return of Odysseus, but not about Penelope. The Penelopiad shows that yes, Penelope was an extremely loyal wife, but she was struggling mentally and emotionally with the fact that she was worried and had to wait way too long. She had a fake outside appearance compared to her inside appearance, yet she couldn't tell anyone, for she felt no one would understand and she had to keep it in. Her thoughts tell the readers, however, how she was truly feeling inside. In the book, on page 2, Penelope says in her mind, "Even if I believed him from time to time, I knew he was tricky and a liar. I just didn't think he would play his tricks and try out his lies on me. Hadn't I been faithful? Hadn't I wanted and waited, despite the temptation, almost the compulsion to do otherwise? And what did I amount to? Once the official version gained ground? An edifying legend, a stick used to beat other women with. Why couldn't they be as considerate, as trustworthy, as all suffering as I had been?" That was the line they took, the singers, the yarn spinners. "Don't follow my example, I want to scream in your ears, yes, yours. But when I heard a scream, I sound like an owl." Penelope says she sounds like an owl, meaning when she actually tried to state her feelings and opinions, she was dominated over, whether it be by the judgment of the suitors or her fear of being put into danger. Penelope then says later on that she kept her mouth shut, and if she opened it, she sang praises to Odysseus only. She didn't ask awkward, deep questions, and she didn't contradict anyone's opinions. This simply shows that the suitors, the maids, her mother-in-law, and Helen didn't seem to know anything about her. Penelope was sugarcoating her life to the convenience of others, making them not need to worry or think about her, even though she was being broken apart inside just waiting for Odysseus, who was sleeping around unknowingly, to come home after 9 years. Moving on, the maids' true feelings as well are shown through the novel The Penelopiad, for they as well are struggling with something. This struggle is rape. The 12 maids, specifically, aren't given a large amount of attention in the novel, but what their lives are like is important to acknowledge. Throughout the book, the maids' true feelings are given away through the choruses, their secret interactions with Penelope, and their rape trial. Rape is an issue today and affects unfortunately many females. Countless rape cases have gone unsaid due to the female's fear of being judged against themselves or for fear of causing more damage to the case and the rapist. However, this novel is truly remarkable for it highlights the true rape victim's feelings. In the book, the maids don't say anything about themselves being raped until the trial for fear of their staunting suitors. During the trial, the maids are tested with the crime of being raped without permission by the leader, in this case Odysseus. The judge on this trial is only aware of Odysseus's and the suitors' point of view until the maids and Penelope finally get the courage to be heard and to express their true, raw feelings. Earlier in the trial, when Penelope is questioned, she says this, "I knew them well, Your Honor. I was fond of them. I brought some of them up, you could say. They were like daughters I never had. I felt so sorry for them. But most maids got raped, sooner or later, a deplorable but common feature of palace life." By saying this, Penelope not only exposes the sad truth about rape, but she also exposes her true feelings towards the maids. Many times throughout the book, the maids are looked upon as bad, while Penelope felt otherwise, yet needed to cover up her feelings with fake tears. At the end of the trial, the maids finally express their true feelings about rape, somewhat beginning an awareness towards it. They say, We demand justice. We demand retribution. We invoke the law of blood guilt. We call upon the angry ones. It's as if, readers, we finally realize the true raw feelings of the maids, feelings that would have been sugar-coated in any other piece of literature. Many people may believe that by showing these raw feelings, especially of Penelope, we often only see how she complains way too much about Helen. For example, she complains, "I've often wondered whether, if Helen hadn't been so puffed up with vanity, we may all have been spared the sufferings and sorrows she brought down on our heads by her selfishness and her deranged list." However, Helen somewhat deserves to be complained about. She was the leading cause of the Trojan War, which led to Penelope's internal pain. The whole Trojan War was fought over her, and when Helen sees Penelope, all she has to say is smart comments. She says, "Oh, but my reason for taking a bath was always spiritual. I found it so soothing in the midst of turmoil. You wouldn't have any idea of how exhausting it is, having such vast numbers of men quarreling over you year after year. Divine beauty is such a burden. At least you've been spared of that." This rude remark from Helen shows us as readers that on top of Penelope's misery, she now has to deal with her cousin, making things much worse and her true feelings towards her more negative. The Penelopiad truly revolutionized the power of female and the amount of wrongings women have to push through and yet are still able to cover their problems up to seen as someone with unimportant problems. I believe that not only females go through this, but men as well. For everyone at some point in their life feels like that their feelings will lead them to being judged, cause them to fake their feelings. If humans were unafraid to express their true feelings in this world, countless problems could be solved, whether it's rape, gender judgments, or simply the way we treat each other. This book highlights that women are struggling with many internal and external problems, but are also strong enough to deal with them on their own. They do what they need to do to get by, and that's the most important.
Of course I'm interested in women. They're interesting. When we talk about women's rights, I'm much more interested in what's available to them by law, for instance, and what sorts of opportunities they have available to them, and how improving their education improves the economy, which it does.